President Sisi approves IBAD amendments for expansion in Africa and Iraq. Egypt's foreign minister urges urgent steps with France, UK to contain the Iran-Israel conflict. And Egypt and Serbia discuss stronger ties and regional tensions, including Gaza and the Iran-Israel conflict. The news in details. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has approved amendments to the IBAD agreements allowing expanded operations in sub-Saharan Africa and Iraq. Under Presidential Decree number 70 of the year 2025, Egypt has ratified two key decisions by the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development's Board of Governors. The amendments to the bank's founding agreement will allow it to operate in sub-Saharan African and Iraq and remove legal limits on capital for ordinary operations. The House of Representatives approved the decree on March 24th. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati has received a phone call from Slovakian Foreign and European Affairs Minister Juraj Blanar. The ministers exchanged views on regional issues, focusing on recent developments in Gaza and Egypt's efforts to resume a ceasefire and ensure humanitarian aid access. Abdulati warned of the risks of escalating conflict between Israel and Iran and urged diplomatic solutions to prevent chaos in the Middle East. The Slovakian minister expressed appreciation for Egypt's role in facilitating the evacuation of Slovak citizens from Israel amid the regional tensions. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati has received a phone call from Slovenia's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign and European Affairs, Tanja Fajon. Abdulati praised strong Egyptian-Slovenian ties and recent high-level visits, stressing the need to build on this momentum. The two exchanged views on regional issues, with Abdulati highlighting Egypt's efforts to resume a Gaza ceasefire and ensure humanitarian aid, while urging de-escalation between Israel and Iran. He emphasized the importance of coordination with Slovenia, especially a UN Security Council member, and welcomed its balanced support for Palestinian rights and regional stability. Egypt's foreign minister has held talks with French and UK officials, urging urgent steps to contain the Iran-Israel conflict and address the worsening humanitarian crisis. Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati spoke rather separately with France Jean-Noël Barrot and UK National Security Advisor Jonathan Powell to push for a ceasefire and renewed diplomacy on Iran's nuclear program. Abdulati stressed the need for coordinated international efforts to prevent regional spillover, while highlighting Egypt's work with Qatar and the US on truce efforts and aid to Gaza. He also urged European nations to recognize Palestine and called on the E3 group to engage Iran in serious dialogue. Egypt's foreign minister held talks with the EU's top diplomat on de-escalating tensions between Israel and Iran and restore calm in Gaza. Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati received a call from EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaya Kallas to discuss rising instability in the Middle East. Abdulati reviewed Egypt's efforts to secure a ceasefire, restart talks on Iran's nuclear file, and prevent wider regional conflict. He also highlighted Cairo's cooperation with Qatar and the United States to reinstate the Gaza truce and deliver humanitarian aid. Abdulati urged stronger EU backing for Palestinians amid worsening conditions. Egypt and Serbia have discussed deepening ties and exchanged views on escalating regional tensions, including the conflict in Gaza and the Iran-Israel standoff. Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati praised the steady growth of Egyptian-Serbian relations during talks with Serbian Prime Minister Đuro Masuć in Cairo. The two sides reviewed shared concerns over rising military escalation between Israel and Iran and ongoing Israeli attacks on Gaza. The meeting underscored the importance of diplomatic engagement amid growing geopolitical instability. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli toured factories in the 6th of October city, including the region's first plant for ultrasound and MRI device production. Madbouli hailed the medical tech facility as a major step in Egypt's Vision 2030 plan to localize advanced manufacturing. The plant will produce 2,500 ultrasound and up to 50 MRI devices annually, targeting domestic and African markets. He also visited Al Safi Group's electronic plant, which includes 25 production lines and employs over 2,000 workers. The Prime Minister pledged full government backing to expand Egypt's medical and tech manufacturing sectors. Egypt's investment minister toured the Nasser City Free Zone, reviewing production lines and company expansion plans in the local market. Minister of Investment and Foreign Trade Hassan Al-Khatib conducted an inspection visit to several firms operating in the Nasser City Free Zone. The tour included a stop at Leoni Wiring System Egypt, which manufactures wiring systems and electrical components for vehicles supplied to European factories. The minister reviewed current operations and discussed upcoming expansion strategies aimed at boosting industrial output and strengthening Egypt's manufacturing base. Egypt and Djibouti have broken ground on a new solar power plant in Arta region, advancing bilateral energy cooperation. A foundation stone has been laid in Omar Jaja village for a solar power facility funded by Egypt's Agency of Partnership for Development. The project is being jointly implemented by Egypt's Ministry of Electricity and Djibouti's Ministry of Energy, following President El-Sisi's visit to Djibouti in April. It marks the first in a series of planned energy initiatives, with talks underway to expand Djibouti's power grid and develop wind energy capacity. Egypt's transport minister has inspected 20 new locally manufactured buses, part of efforts to modernize the country's passenger fleet. Minister of Industry and Transport Kamel El-Wazir reviewed a new batch of MCV 600 Mercedes buses produced entirely in Egypt. The vehicles will join the Superjet fleet, raising its total to 242 modern air-conditioned units. Each bus includes 49 seats in safety and comfort features. Wazir reaffirmed the government's commitment to localizing the bus manufacturing industry and integrating advanced vehicles to support a more efficient national transport system. Egypt's housing minister has ordered immediate action to cut energy and water use in new cities, citing regional tensions. Housing Minister Sharif al-Sherbini has instructed officials to reduce consumption amid the fallout from the Iranian-Israeli conflict. During a coordination meeting with the nuclear leaders, he called for maintenance of public lighting, control of illuminated billboards, and public awareness campaigns. The ministry is also intensifying efforts to limit water losses and ensure drinking water plants run efficiently. Shabini said resource conservation has become a national priority in the current regional climate. Egypt's Ministry of Agriculture has confirmed the availability of both imported and locally produced animal feed ingredients, stating that poultry, meat and dairy markets remain stable. The ministry reassured that sufficient foreign currency is being allocated to support feed imports, with strategic reserves covering at least 3 months. Intensive inspection campaigns are underway to monitor distribution and prevent hoarding or price manipulation, with legal action promised against violators. Egypt plans to raise its municipal waste recycling rate to 60% by 2027, building on recent private sector partnerships and waste-to-energy projects. Environment Minister Yasmin Fuad told lawmakers Egypt's recycling rate rose from 10% in 2018 to 37% in 2024, with a target of 60% by 2027. The waste management law has driven private investment, growing public-private contracts from 2 to 36. Key projects include landfill gas capture at As-Salam and sewage sludge conversion at Abu Rawash, backed by a new feed-in tariff. The Waste Management Regulatory Authority, now operating as an economic authority, has posted a surplus of £45 million, reflecting the impact of ongoing reforms. In Old Cairo's historic Fustat district, a unique program is training young Egyptians in traditional crafts, preserving centuries of artistic heritage. The Gamil House of Traditional Arts offers a 2-year scholarship that teaches skills like ceramics, bracework, and woodcraft. Since its launch in 2009, the initiative has helped graduates build careers or become teachers. It's a partnership between the UK's King's Foundation, Egypt's Ministry of Culture, and Community Gamil. Students display and sell their work in an annual exhibition supporting cultural continuity and artisan entrepreneurship in Egypt. Egypt's central bank has released new regulations governing the licensing of payment system operators and service providers. The Central Bank of Egypt issued new rules under Law number 194 for the year 2020 to regulate entities offering payment services or operating payment systems domestically. Covered activities include cash handling, fund transfers, issuing payment tools, remittances, and account data services. Licensing conditions require minimum capital, financial guarantees, and regulatory approvals. Existing providers have 12 months to comply. Foreign firms must hold a license in their home country and meet CBE conditions to serve users in Egypt. Egyptian Meteorological Authority predicts that tomorrow there will be a rise in temperatures, leading to extremely hot weather during the day across most regions, while the nights will be mild. Additionally, there is an expectation of morning fog that may be dense at times in areas along the northern coasts, the Nile Delta, Greater Cairo, the Canal cities, and northern and central Sinai. There will also be wind activity across most areas. Well, that brings us to the end of our news bulletin. Here is what we've been covering. President Sisi approves ZEBED amendments for expansion in Africa and Iraq. Egypt's foreign minister urged urgent steps with France, UK to contain the Iran-Israel conflict. And Egypt and Serbia discuss stronger ties and regional tensions, including Gaza and the Iran-Israel conflict. Well, that's all for now. Remember to stay updated by following Qnews for the latest developments. Many thanks for watching.